Welcome to the PolyInnovator channel. I am Dustin, and I had created a do-it-yourself degree as a pathway for my dream career that I aspired to. Growing up, I struggled in school. And not to say I lack intelligence, for I would humbly say, far from it. I think my genetic makeup is solely IQ and EQ. As I never really had physical strength growing up, I had to, through sheer will, develop any sort of muscular structure and taught myself deeply in the ways of muscle control and self-discipline, exercise discipline in particular. Spending years learning different exercise routines, I believe it is this growth mindset that has led me to be successful. Along with a strong work ethic I learned from my family, I started my first job 2 weeks before my 17th birthday. And although my positions evolved and correlated a lot over the years, changing, I still work for that employer. Throughout this time, I worked many other jobs to induce multiple income streams. I am still trading time for money instead of creating a passive income. However, I have gained a lot of experience. And I think a lot of my mindset now has been cultivated by the experiences. I've worked for a health food store. The first job I've been since the beginning is a recreation gym center. I've worked with a fantastic DJ named DJ Calavera, sports events, and currently I work for an escape room facility. The latter I chose to improve my logical-based process, which I really think has done quite well with. Speaking of a growth mindset and self-development, I watched a really neat video recently that I'll share with you in the description. It talks about how important the growth mindset is in the future of jobs and employment. The future holds many tribulations ahead of us, from the challenge of global warming, the evolution of education, abolishing poverty, and job automation. And you would think automation would be a good thing, and it truly is. However, it'll create a shift in the workforce, as there are a plethora of people who are unwilling to change. When the time comes for their particular position to be automated, it is my hope that they have prepared by growing outside of their field in some way. Bear in mind, it may not have to step too far out of your niche either, for sometimes it only takes a slight adjustment, as such as learning marketing, to make you stand out from the rest. This is why I created the do-it-yourself degree of my design. There has been some before, so I do not want to fully take credit, obviously. However, the ones in the past I feel are stepping stones to a truly modular education. We are approaching that apex of creating your own education fully, choosing exactly what you want to learn, not being forced into a curriculum decided for you. This may sound pompous, so to speak, but it's true. For centuries, higher education has been made for the masses, not the individual, and now it's starting to change for the better. 10 years down the line, which it might not even take that long, you could sign up for a blank slate and then fill it with courses from a plethora of different schools, each with their own particular strengths, cutting out most of the potential pitfalls of certain establishments. For example, you may want to get a business education, such as an MBA from Harvard, but you want the entrepreneurship from ASU. I can see yourself merging multiple schools into one education in the future. It may come down to taking multiple micro-credentials and adding them up. However, by that time, you wouldn't be taking a sole degree anyways. You would be merging multiple different micro-degrees together into one large path. A path, mind you, that was made unique for you. This is one reason why I'm such an advocate for online education. Right now, it's just starting to gain traction not only in general, but with employers in particular. Many employers are not fully comfortable employing someone without a degree yet. But as you can see with programming and many other tech sectors like that, there are people who just go simply to boot camps or are self-taught. Not to mention companies like Google and IBM don't even require a bachelor's degree anymore. Also, one little side note, my pop filter does not work very well, so if you hear a P and a S too much, I am very sorry. Not to mention a monumental surge and micro-credentials and leading into the jobs those companies hire for. And you don't always have to code to do it either. If you like marketing or design or business, you are set too. This sort of making your educations like Legos is a unique idea, one that I cherish. And I know I'm crazy for making a list of over 400 courses. However, I did so because by the time I created it, I had already collected a third of it. Not to mention, in my ideal career is a synergy between global sustainability development, innovation and project management, which both of those are technically two anyways, and social entrepreneurship, which all three of these areas are worth a degree on their own, let alone trying to learn all of them and trying to find or creating a career for them. I would also like to aim to be the foremost person in the realm of online education, if I could speak, as I am not reliant on a particular school as my prior education or background. I'm not against getting a degree, and in fact, I think by doing this path, I am taking it. It will prepare me greatly in the long run for it. Not only am I using many websites like Khan Academy or Duolingo for daily practice, but I'm also learning from courses that are, for the most part, graduate level. Meaning by the time I'm even go into a program, it may be far simpler than what I have already done in the past. One last thing I would like to mention on this is that, and this is key for those of you who are listening closely, I am pursuing this purely for the education. However, by doing so, I can take CLEP tests or go to a competency-based school like WGU and perhaps speed up my degree, accelerating the actual process if I already know the knowledge. This is an idea behind BA in 4 weeks and other ideas and programs of D.I.Y degrees in the past. Link in the description again. I am now approaching the quote-unquote halfway mark on my script when writing this. And I tell you this because I plan to use this part to tell you why you should subscribe. Though I think it should be noted that up until now, most of the script had come from a deep desire to share all of this, a passion of learning. That, I think, is something I wish for all of you to take from me, a love for learning, or in Greek terms, a philomath. I want you all to become a lover of learning so that you may become an autodidact, which, in other words, a self-teacher. Yes, you can take those courses, but as you may can tell, it takes some grit and self-discipline to get moving. The self-development process is one of a lifelong matter and can sometimes take momentum to get going. I actually started my content creation journey with a company I had made last year. I say company, but it was more of a brand because I hadn't monetized it. Simply created content regularly. And I still have a bunch of podcasts I had made based around the premise of the company. I had called it United Living Construct, based around the idea of living united peacefully in a physical place or construct. However, prior to becoming a physical place, it will become a platform of change. Hashtag make a change. Which construct also means a unique combination of ideas. The three main areas of focus for the ULC are philosophy, self-development, and world unity. The podcasts I had mentioned before are based around those ideals, and in particular, self-dev. So feel free to crack down, check it out, deep dive into the rabbit hole, and if you do, leave me a comment, tell me what you liked, and what you would want me to make more podcasts about. I am sort of merging the podcast on SoundCloud to be both ULC and PolyInnovator into being one spot, as they are basically most of the same topics besides the ULC having more world unity based ideas and PolyInnovator being more self-education or education in general, mainly to simplify it for the followers and to create more content. Finally, my last point I would like to make today is that by becoming a self-learner, you can become much more versatile in your occupations, allowing for more flexibility in your employment retention and being able to further pursue new endeavors. Not to mention, the best path you could take is one of interdisciplinary pathways. That word always gets my tongue twisted. Allowing for the synergy of new ideas and new innovations. Please like, share, and subscribe so that everyone can benefit from the higher education revolution. Thank you.